And right around when Tiki and I really started to both watch golf at the same time, David Duval was number one. I mean, if you didn't watch golf back then or you're a little bit too young, this guy could play. There's no doubt. And I think he's made a nice transition to TV. I'm a fan, and it's David Duval. David, Tiki, and Tierney, how are you today, buddy?
I'm good, fellas. How are you guys?
Awesome, man. What would you equate Charlie Hoffman's like? And when I hear Nick Faldo say it might be the most impressive round ever at the Masters, I mean, a little hyperbole. I don't know. You played the game. Just describe how hard was it?
Well, I don't know how you put it as the best round. If it's not the best round, it's probably one of the 5 best rounds ever played at the Masters. Put it in perspective. I mean, this morning with the same wind, it's a little bit, maybe a mile or two less.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Singh's got a launch monitor out there reporting he's hitting his driver 235 yards.
Wow.
Into the wind.
Wow.
I mean, it's just ripping. The first hole's hardest hole. It's one of the hardest holes historically, anyways. It's playing 4.7. I mean, nearly a par 5. It's just impressive, and the way he did it with just such superb iron play and approach play. It will definitely go down. I think there's been 29 63 shot in major championship golf, and I don't know if you equate it with that, but it's certainly probably one of the 50 best major championship rounds ever played.
Wow, throwing a little Johnny Miller into the mix here historically at Oakmont. I got you. Wow.
You talk about the conditions out there. And obviously, you've played in conditions like this, probably not as bad at a course like Augusta. But what's the mindset of a golfer when you're standing there, your pants are whipping? I mean, everything's blowing in your face. How do you concentrate? Golf is hard enough as it is, but how do you concentrate in those kind of conditions?
Yeah, we just call the cart girl. I don't know what you guys do.
You drive in, right?
Exactly.
I'm good.
These are the days that you really have to embrace and relish, because they're few and far between, although it's happening today as well, back-to-back rounds where it's blowing 25, 30 miles an hour, and just realize that everybody's going to be struggling. Everybody's going to be second-guessing themselves. Everybody's going to have golf balls get blown all over the place, and there's just really nothing you can do about it, and recognize that success comes at the end of 72 holes, and if you have to just survive for a couple of days and avoid high numbers, that's what you do. It's a progression from Thursday through Sunday of just trying to come up with the lowest score. And you know what? If you shoot 80, 80, 80, 80 in your lowest score, who cares what you shot? You got 3 jacks. It just really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's about shooting the low score. And so days like this, I view what Charlie did yesterday is he just gave himself the ability to make a mistake or two and still be right in the mix of things, or even leading come this weekend, which is just an incredible kind of little ace in the hole, if you will, that he has going into today.
So to Dave Duval, obviously mentioned the 2001 Open Championship, former #1 player, a couple of second places at Augusta, not to mention the U.S. Open as well, kind of recently, somewhat recently, in 2009, and David's part of the Golf Channel. Is with us here on Tiki and Tierney. For a couple of more player-specific things, just for us hacks, like our audience, and we're hacks here, in terms of like club selection, battling these winds. Like if I'm in the fairway and I'm going to hit an 8-iron, with these winds, am I going to have to hit a 5, a 4, a hybrid? Like for the average hack, you know what I mean?
Right, you're talking minimum 3-club wind.
Wow.
I've had a few instances in the Open, played once or twice here when you have these winds, and it just almost in some ways becomes a guessing game. And it's a little different than, say, 20 years ago when you could actually fight golf balls down and really keep them real low. You can bring it down some, but, the modern ball and the way the game's played, it's that much more difficult because they're designed to go up into the air. So you're not going to see as much, playing along the ground, as they say, like over in the Open.
Yeah.
First of all, the golf course doesn't allow it. And secondly, it makes it that much more difficult because of the modern equipment. So you really just got to have a good feel of what's going to happen, what's going on with the golf ball, and just put it up there and forget numbers. I mean, if it's 150 yards and you have to hit a 5-iron, well, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Well, that's Tiki's regular shot. hey, Dave. Dave, let me ask you this: Does Charlie Hoffman have the game and the mind to finish this thing through? And if not, which of the two is lacking more, in your opinion?
Well, if it's lacking, I'd say the mind. He certainly has the ability in the game. He's got a beautiful repetitive golf swing. If you watch him swing a 7-iron and a driver, it looks the same, and that's what people talk about, swing it the same, and that's what he does, and that's what served him so well yesterday and could potentially serve him well today and through the rest of the week. It's always a hurdle, regardless of who you are, breaking through and winning the big events like that. And so, but you got to take your step back and recognize that, hey, I am going to get ahead of myself. I am going to think about what it would mean. I am going to think about what it'd feel like to put on the green jacket or hold up the claret jug. Those are the things that you can't avoid because you're human, but embrace those thoughts and emotions, recognize they're going to happen, then put them aside, and realize, okay, that's what I want, but I need to do this, this, and this. And that's what will bring you back to being present. And that's just the way you have to approach it. Don't spend mental energy and time trying not to think about something because you're going to. You're just human.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And we're all human in golf, but some of these pros are, especially the big name pros that are climbing up this leaderboard, the one that jumps out to my mind, and it's maybe only because BT picked this individual to win this Masters. He hasn't won yet on tour. Sergio Garcia. I see Sergio. He's 37 years old now. Seve was 37 when he won. BT kind of throws the symmetry out there. The Spaniard, this is going to happen. But when I think about the conditions that are today, traditionally when I think about Sergio, he's that guy who's always thinking, right? Maybe sometimes thinking too much. Does he have what it takes to be there?
I believe he does. One of the more shocking things in professional golf is both that he nor Lee Westwood have won a major championship.
Yeah.
Both of them you'd think would have, most certainly by now. But we talked about it Wednesday that, with the conditions that are forecast for yesterday and today, you're going to be required to move the ball up, down, left, and right. And that fits Sergio extremely well. Ultimately, he has to make some putts. We know that tends to be a little bit of an issue at times, but we always get sidetracked because people think it's a putting contest in professional golf, and it's nowhere close to being a putting contest. It never has been.
Yeah.
You have to be a good putter is all you have to be, but the great hitters are the ones who endure, and those are the ones who win in the long run. Because you can see a difference. People think everybody hits it the same, and it's just not the case. The guys who actually hit properly and compress the ball, it's a different sound. If you walk up and down a driving range at the PGA Tour event, you'll hear the difference. And those are the guys who tend to succeed long term, because all you have to do is putt well, and you can win if you're a great hitter in the golf ball.
It's amazing. You would think that, obviously there's different variations of compressing the golf ball, but you would think at the bare minimum, every professional golfer almost always compresses the golf ball. Wow.
Well, they do, but some just do it better.
Gotcha.
And it's a different sound. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's bad hitters, but there's definitely a difference between how people hit the golf ball out on the PGA Tour and in professional golf. And, some guys make a living through maybe not hitting as well and just being incredible scramblers. But, you think of, you go to Dustin Johnson, Jason Day, Rory McIlroy, Henrik Stenson.
This kid Rahm.
You're talking about incredible hitters of the golf ball.
Yep.
So when you put those things together, you make a putt or two. There you go.
Makes sense. I got you. Dave Duval, of course, won the Open Championship back in 2001. A couple of second places, including Augusta. Golf Channel. He's out at Augusta right now. Dave, final thing for me. You just mentioned Dustin Johnson. I was watching some of the coverage, not just on the Golf Channel, which I always do, but even on SportsCenter, bouncing around. And I got the sense, now it wasn't biting criticism, but there were a few people, former players and analysts who were surprised, and it was laced with a little disappointment that Dustin Johnson didn't suck it up a little bit and try to play, at least put a couple of shots in the air. How did you view that?
I think that's misplaced criticism. So, I've gone through many injuries in my life and in my playing career, and at times I wish I had the wherewithal to walk away, to take a longer break, to take that extra month or two. And he's thinking long term because he's clearly playing better than anybody else, and it's incredibly unfortunate and it's sad that we didn't get to see him perform here at the Masters tournament. But we also don't know the extent of it. That it's not like he had a X-ray, MRI, anything like that done. It just was real. It was in a lot of pain, so there could potentially be some other issues. And when you go out injured, and you try to play, you ultimately make compensations to avoid the pain. And if there's one thing he doesn't need to do right now, it's make any changes to what he's doing and how he's swinging the golf club. Pain and injury is going to necessitate you do that. And I think it was a wise move not to tee off if he's in that much pain.
David, really good stuff. Appreciate you hopping on. Obviously, you're running around TV, juggling the course and stuff. Thank you very much, man. And again, to reiterate, definitely fans. You're doing a nice job on TV.
I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great day.
Back at you. There he is, David Duval.